We do have Jon Kafuko, a program manager at Youth Food Justice Network. Good afternoon to you, John, and welcome to NTV at 1.
Good afternoon, Mildred, and good afternoon to our viewers and listeners. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Now, let's start with there is concern that funding in the education sector across the country is still a challenge, and this is also attributed to why we see low performance or poor performance amongst the student. What is your take on this?
Yeah, that should be part of the reason why we are having low performance, because if you look at the Auditor General's report of last year, year ended December 2024, you look at, you see that the ratio of teachers to students is below standard. I think it's supposed to be 1 to 53, but it's about 1 to 75. You look at the ratio of students to the classroom to the students, you see that classrooms are overpacked. I think they're supposed to be about, one classroom should cater still for about 53 students, but they're over 100 pupils in a classroom.
Why? Because no infrastructure? Because
of no infrastructure, of course, but then of course there is also, the teachers are also not enough, to divide themselves amongst the learners, but also even in terms of things now like pit latrines, things now like menstrual hygiene for young girls. That equipment they need, the pads, the towels, Many of these young kids have been leaving school, they have been missing school. I think the Auditor General pointed out about 64% have missed some, either class or something because of menstrual hygiene. So you're saying that government is not investing so much in menstrual hygiene for girls. And of course this has an impact at the end of the day on how these students or these learners are going to perform in this. And you see, to note, from the results that were released, I think about 60% of those people who sat the exams were from UPE schools.
Okay.
So, and these are the schools where I think government only gives each school about 1 million in terms of funding, just 1 million, and that is per year. So you can imagine the gap, the funding, the gap that is there. I mean, which school is going to survive on just 1 million?
But some would argue that the government actually does invest in education, but maybe the problem arises from the mismanagement of those funds. Yeah,
partly you could say that. First of all, now like this financial year we are in, I think our education budget is about 8% of the entire budget. Entire budget is about 72 trillion. So just 8% of that is our education budget, which is still below par in terms of the regional standards. Because I think according to the regional standard, it's supposed to be about between 15 and 20% of the budget should be dedicated to education. So, but with that said, of course, I agree that there is still a misuse of funds somewhere. But still, I mean, we still need to put in more, because some of these, those stats I pointed out from the Auditor General just point to the fact that the money is not sufficient. And even the Auditor General points it out clearly that, money is not sufficient. We have to look for sources to pump into this. And it's unfortunate that now we have USAID, freezing some of this money that is coming in, because they have also been playing a huge part funding the education sector. So it is really unfortunate, but the Auditor General, and I'll pick this from government, because this is a government report, is also recommending that we need to look for more money.
Okay. And so now you did cite the portion of the budget that goes to the education sector, which clearly points to where our priorities lie as a country. And so in your view, what are some of the school funding areas that the government should focus on or give priority so as learning outcomes can improve?
Yeah, I see government has made some good efforts, some tremendous efforts in improving quality education. I mean, they have been investing in seed schools, which are schools which are in those hard to reach areas, targeting the most vulnerable of the population. So for me, I think that is a very good initiative. Make sure everyone has access to good quality education, but also in terms of welfare for the learners. I don't think 1 million for each student is really enough for an entire year. You have about 3 terms in an entire year.
So then what should the government do to improve on the financing of the education as we wrap up?
No, we should increase the funding. I should put it that way. I mean, it's a matter of prioritizing education, because recently you saw there's a classified supplementary budget which was passed for, I think, State House to buy vehicles and all that.
Okay.
But if you compare the vehicles and the education, which one comes first? Or
so
even,
from 8% to what percentage of the budget?
To about 15 at least. At least, yeah. Okay. To have quality education for all learners.
All right. Thank you so much, Jon Kafuko, Program Manager at the Youth for Justice Network. They have had your